Wild child of the Veldt. I feel like this name is highly inappropriate. I think that the name of this Lufenia should be not to mess with the mafia, because it's just waves of mobsters. Look at these little fucks. I mean, you take one out, and after you've taken it out, they call their cousin Vinny. And Vinny also calls his cousin. And then you get ganged up one. Like, I wonder what these lizards are doing in their spare time. Are they drug dealers? Are they smuggling in products? Are they just running money laundering services? These are definitely some cutthroat gangsters. And I mean that in like the Italian sense. Like, they go out and they have a lovely spaghetti and meatball dinner, and they talk about the value of family, because obviously there's 90 million, or, you know, maybe there's not, maybe there's just 5 family members, but I imagine that if there's this many, there has to be even more. And I think that it's probably a situation like Scarface. And even though I say that, I also haven't seen that movie. So you can 100% rip on me for that fact. I know that there's a scene that, you know, he introduces his little friend, which is a gun that hits just as hard as Tifa does. This is the second out of 16 Lufenias that I cleared using Tifa, and she just is the ultimate cheat code. And, you know, it's really nice to be able to spam her battle cry, because it's just back to back to back to back. And that's actually a method that I overly abuse, because I don't like to plan, you know. I'd rather just have the game submit. And I honestly wonder what future content is going to be like, because is she just going to be so overpowered for a long time, or are we just going to get even more insane characters? Because if the Lufenias are going to get Lufenia Plus, and then that becomes something where she's no longer a viable asset, I think that it's going to be extremely interesting. And I know that I could do some legwork, and I know that I could probably find that out by going to YouTube rather than going to Facebook and asking a question to a group and then wait to be trolled, trampled, and corrected, which I will say is something that is really strong in the community. And I'm not going to say I'm 100% against it, because there are some individuals who live for this game, and I appreciate that as well, because every now and then they do give out good advice that I will use to my advantage, but I'll never admit to it, because that's how you play the game. If you want to be a veteran, you just watch a video, you recreate it, and then you go to a stream and you're like, this is what I did, you guys. I opened up the guidebook. Holy shit, could you imagine if there was a guidebook for this game? That thing would be so thick it could be a weapon in its own right. I also couldn't imagine anybody reading it, because I remember getting game guides as a kid, and I remember having so much ADD that it was just wasted on me. It was for Final Fantasy VIII. That was the first game guide that I ever got, and that was also the first game guide that I used as a coaster. because I never cracked it. Well, let me correct myself. I may have opened it once, and that was just to check out all the art in the book, because that's the real value of those, is because there's a lot of fantastic concept art that is lost on us. We don't get to experience that really anymore. And there are some really amazing and talented artists out there that I see their stuff, and it's just really amazing. But I never know who they are, because we live in a community setting where everybody is sharing everything, but it's really hard to find the source, which is something that's kind of sad to me. And I wish that more people would give shout out credit, because I would love to follow some of these artists. There's one artist who does renditions of things that happen in Final Fantasy VIII, and one of them is Quistis using blue magic, and she uses Devour on a behemoth, and Squall is just mortified by it. It's absolutely the tits, and I don't know, I wish that I could find that artist and I could follow them, because they are doing good in the world, and I am sitting in my living room with my dogs judging me as I spend an enormous amount of time on a mobile game that I actually spend more time on this game than I do any game that I have for my PlayStation 5. Me and my husband actually joke about it, because all we do is play old games. And then to up the ante on that, I now play a new game with old characters on my phone, and I don't even touch my PlayStation 5.